friend, welcome to Locust Street Cottage. Today I want to talk to you about 5 tomatoes you must grow on your urban homestead. Let's go! Excuse me for a moment, but I know my bunnies need some straw, so let's get them some straw real quick. We have this sophisticated method of transporting straw here at Locust Street Cottage. Well, we practice deep bedding in the winter, and I've cleaned these hutches out, but we've had 5 days of rain, and you can see poor Quinn. He needs more straw, and then I'll clean this out in the next couple days. Battle of convincing Quinn he needs to stay in while I'm putting straw in his... No! He's pushing on it. This is for your own good! This is extreme. Well, you'll have something to do. Not as bad as Quinn. No, I'm just putting straw in. There's no yard day today. Oh good, they went back to breakfast. Let's talk about tomatoes. So the first thing you need to know is there's 2 different kinds of tomatoes, the Determinate and the Indeterminate. Determinate tomatoes are like bush tomatoes, and they only get to a certain height. You can remember it by looking at this. Indeterminate tomatoes can grow 6 to 20 feet tall, which is why I'm standing near these trellises, because those are super important when you plant indeterminate tomatoes. Back of my house where you just saw those trellises, it doesn't get nearly enough sun because we have this big tree. I can't plant my tomatoes out here. What I have to do is plant my tomatoes in the front, and I've always made the mistake of not having enough trellis for my tomatoes. This year we're reworking the beds, and we're going to have long beds that go across this way, and they're going to be a bunch of trellises. That's not what you're here to talk about. Let's talk about the 5 tomatoes. Okay, the 5 tomatoes with Brad's Atomic Grape. If you have not grown these, they end up being about a pear size tomato. They truly are these beautiful colors. And as the back says, they are crack resistant cherries. I would argue that they're not cherry tomatoes. In Technicolor shades and stripes, extraordinarily sweet, just amazing. These are my most favorite tomatoes. I like to slice them really thin and put them on a bagel with cream cheese. Now these next 4 tomatoes are new to me. I basically handed my catalog to my 17-year-old daughter and told her to pick out stuff, and she wanted the most colorful or odd tomatoes. Our second tomato is the white currant tomato. I'm not a big fan of cherry tomatoes, but these are so cute. It says, super sweet, tiny fruit, barely 1 inch across, in creamy white, pale yellow, superb and sweet flavor. This is the blueberries tomato. I saw this on Roots and Refuge. We had to have it. Amethyst blue cherry. Amethyst blue, you guys. Turn deep red shades, clusters. They yield all season. Great white tomato. Giant sweet 1-pound slicers in creamy white, deliciously fruity, reminiscent of fresh cut pineapple, melon, and guava. Pineapple? Wagner blue-green tomato. Flavorful round fruit, 3 inches across, incredible blue with green flesh. Something to note about blue or dark tomatoes. They will be the darkest the more sunny the location. So if you have a couple different places where you might be planting tomatoes, make sure you have your blue tomatoes or your dark tomatoes in the sunniest spot. Let's talk about the 2 reasons why I suggest that you plant these in your urban homestead. First off, all of these tomatoes are indeterminate, which means they're great for growing vertically, and that's what we have to do here on the urban homestead because we don't have much room. Secondly, they're beautiful and not something that you see every day, which is important when you have neighbors. My garden beds are mostly in the front yard because that's where my son is. I make sure to grow things that my neighbors like, and then I kind of bribe them / pay them off to tolerate, so that they will tolerate my garden when it's not garden season and it looks kind of yucky. Thankfully, all my neighbors are very tolerant of my garden beds, and they love the fresh tomatoes, but I'm really excited to offer these new tomatoes that'll taste different and give them a new experience, and hopefully they'll be even more understanding when I start growing things on our shared fence. Anyways, I hope that brought you value, and if you like what you saw, you can subscribe right there. You can watch more gardening videos right there, and we'll talk to you later.